Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope y'all had a great ending to your weekend, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're gonna be speaking about what went wrong with Erickson Lubin. Even though we spoke about it yesterday, we definitely gonna touch up on that once again. We're gonna talk about Vergil Ortiz's team looking for a way out of the Jaron Ennis fight, the things that they've been saying, and why I'm led to believe that this fight may not happen next as a result of that. And of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. We're going to open up the platform for everybody to come through and speak their piece. You feel what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's in the comment section so far. But before I get into the comments, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe button. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,200 mark. About to hit that 3,300 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. What's going on? What's going on? Wild night last night, man. Wild night. So while I was in the middle of interacting with y'all on the live, a huge 5-car accident happened outside of my house, man. Apparently, from what I've heard, this is alleged. Of course, I didn't see it with my own eyes, but there was 2 people that was actually racing down the block that that's outside of my crib, and the 2 people racing, they actually had, I don't know why, ate the red light, while somebody was actually driving and doing the right thing and going as they have the green light. The dude who was racing in his Jeep truck smacked the dude in the Nissan. The Nissan hit a truck. He hit the truck so hard that the truck did a 90-degree turn and was literally facing the building that I live out of. So it went from facing this way to when it got hit, it faced directly at me. So that just lets you know how hard the fucking car got hit. Then the small car hit my girl car. My girl car literally, it was a small little Honda. So the small little Honda got hit so hard that it literally went underneath my girl car, had my girl's car in the air. Absolutely insane situation, man. They had it all, they had it considered a crime scene. They had it all taped off. They was investigating. And we had some good people come by, seeing that we needed help. And we was able to get my girl's car off of my neighbor's car. Shit, y'all think I'm bullshitting? Take a look at this shit, bro. And this is the video.
What the fuck? My nigga. What the fuck? My nigga.
My shit literally in the air, bro.
What the fuck?
Crazy situation, bro. I never heard a car, and I've seen car accidents. I've been in car accidents. I never heard a car accident that loud, bro. Like y'all literally heard it on the live as if it was right there. Like it was crazy, bro. But we're gonna get that taken care of. Yo, fortunately, my girl's car didn't have much damage. My girl drove her car today, like nothing happened. So, we blessed. And then my car was ahead of my girl's car. So thank God my shit didn't get hit, bro. But it is what it is. Accidents happen, and people drive irresponsibly, especially on the weekends. But not to talk too much about myself, man. We're gonna get into this boxing talk, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Let me go ahead and do my shout outs. Man. Shout out to the boy Simba Boxing in the building. We definitely gonna talk about Vergil Ortiz and his chance of beating Boots. But to sum it up, he got a good chance, man. Vergil Ortiz has some he has some good qualities, man. I do think his skill set is underrated. I don't think that he's like this come forward pressure fighter like a lot of people, seem to label him as. He definitely got some tricks up his sleeve. He places shots really well. He's aggressive, good stamina. He a dog, strong mental fortitude is definitely up there. Like he's battle tested for sure. So he's game. You know what I mean? He got some good counter punching ability. He got some good. He got some fast hands. So there's things that Boots is definitely gonna have to be aware of, and he gonna have to come into this camp and be sharp on both sides. You know what I mean? Typically, he's sharp offensively, but he can get a little lackadaisical on the defensive side. Both things have to be on point if he wants to, put on a great performance against Vergil. I think he defeats Vergil. You know what I'm saying? But these are the type of fights, in my opinion, that Jaron Ennis needs in order to really show the people how special he is. I've seen it with my own eyes. People who've been around Boots have seen it with their own eyes, but the world hasn't seen it. And it is different when you're underneath them lights. You know what I'm saying? So, great question. Shout out to Simple Boxing. Forever Dedicated. What up? Marissa, what's going on? Bad Boom Balloon. My boy Coffee Plant and J Cash is in the building. King of Brooklyn. What up? Shout out to my Brooklyn people, man. Teach. What's going on? What's going on? Anonymous in the building. Ralph. Agent 86. Eugene. What up, brother? What's going on? What's going on? Woo, Eugene. Eugene said he got Vergil for the knockout against Boots. Woo-wee. I got Boots for the knockout. But Vergil he ain't gonna go out like Lima. You know what I mean? He ain't gonna go out like no hoe. I think he gonna get systematically broken down. That was lightning. Did y'all see that? That looked really fucking close. Let me check my weather app and see if I'm tripping. Yeah, it's definitely some shit going on. Hold on. Because this weather app on the iPhone be really inaccurate too. That was crazy. But anyways, my boy Anonymous in the building, he said, facts, my respect for Vergil went up after that fight. He's a bad motherfucker. He could fight. No, he could definitely fight. And then, like I said, you just can't label him this come forward pressure fighter. You know what I mean? Like he definitely got some skills that I've noticed. You know what I mean? He got a good jab. He variates his punches to the head and body really well. Good timing. You know what I mean? And that, that goes hand in hand with his counter punching ability, because if your timing is off, it's going to be hard to counter people, right? I've seen him counter Erickson Lubin in that short amount of time effectively, especially when he slipped over to his right, came back with the right hand, caught Erickson Lubin clean. The punching power is there too, bro. And he's not like this dude who's like predictable where what he's going to throw. Punches hard with both hands, and he throws each punch very well. You know what I'm saying? And he was countering with the jab as well. Yes, he was. Lubin will throw a jab, and he'd be slightly out of range. Now, I did see Lubin giving Vergil a little bit of fits with his range. I seen him lunging in with hooks and missing by a country mile and stuff like that. But, that's things that could be worked on and improved for sure. So, it ain't really much to break down because it did end within 2 rounds. But Vergil, he showed some good things. He was ready. You know what I mean? But, let's get into this, man. I want to get into this Erickson Lubin situation because I've seen Troy Osley's, take on why Erickson Lubin looked the way that he did. He said that's the worst he ever seen Erickson Lubin. And he put the blame on Coach K Karoma, I believe that's his name. K Karoma has been a part of a lot of, training camps. He's trained a lot of good fighters, you know what I'm saying, on an amateur and a pro level. So I don't really know too much about K Karoma outside of that. I haven't really done my research on it, but I know that he's been a part of some world-class training camps. And I know for a fact that he's worked with Shakur Stevenson. You know what I mean? I guess Erickson Lubin was another guy that he was working with. And Troy Osley points the fingers at K Karoma as to why Erickson Lubin performed the way that he did. Now, I'm talking about the Troy Osley video where he pretty much just took a shot at Coach K. I didn't know that Troy Osley and Coach K had a situation. I didn't know that they had a beef. I don't know what the situation is. That's not really none of my business either. You know what I mean? What happens between grown men, that's between them. But I'm addressing this because Troy Osley, brought it up. Was speaking of his opinion about why Erickson Lubin looked the way that he did. And I ain't gonna lie. Very disappointed with Erickson Lubin. I said this on a live, yesterday, right after his performance. I was definitely disappointed. I thought that Erickson Lubin, I put a lot of respect on Erickson Lubin's name. I went as far as to say that this was a 50-50 fight, even though I had picked Vergil Ortiz to win. You know what I'm saying? I thought that I was under the impression that Erickson Lubin was focused. He looked to be in phenomenal shape. Looked like he made weight pretty easy. it just looked like when he got under those lights, it's like he folded, like he got cold feet. That's what it looked like to me. Or in the beginning he was using his jab, he was even moving a little bit. Then he had gotten hit by Vergil, and things kind of changed after that. So I don't know if it was he just went into, he went into survival mode after he had gotten hit clean. I don't know if he was overtrained. I don't know if he was undertrained. It could be a multitude of things, but based off how the way Erickson Lubin looked at the weigh-in, he looked like he had a phenomenal camp. He looked locked in. He looked focused. So it may have just been, in all honesty, Vergil catching him with a good shot and him pretty much losing his focus after that. You see what I mean? But I pretty much laid out my keys to victory for Erickson Lubin, and I said that he had to be a moving target. He had to utilize his jab. When Vergil Ortiz, and your main objective throughout that fight, in my opinion, as a boxing coach, is to try to frustrate Vergil Ortiz. And how can you frustrate Vergil Ortiz? Counter him effectively and being a moving target so he's not able to set his feet. A lot of the times when Vergil Ortiz is effective offensively is when his feet are set. I watched the Bohachuk fight, and I've seen how, in spots Vergil Ortiz can punch as he's moving his feet, which is something that a lot of people can't do. So I did find that to be impressive. That's another thing that's definitely underrated about Vergil Ortiz, maybe because he doesn't show it as much, but nonetheless, he can do it. For the most part, his power punches are usually coming when his feet are planted. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to see Erickson Lubin tap into that bag that he kind of gave Jesus Ramos. You know what I mean? Counter punching effectively, just being sharp and not really giving Vergil, not really playing into Vergil Ortiz's strengths. And one of the things I said is that Erickson Lubin has these. Ortiz does have great fundamentals, but if you notice R3, a lot of the people that train with Robert Garcia, their fundamentals are very sharp. That's something that Robert Garcia emphasizes for sure. Yep. Yeah, Anonymous. We're going to get into that. We definitely, and I'm going to actually put that comment there so I don't forget to address it. So, Erickson Lubin has this tendency, and this is something that I was very wary about going into the fight. He loses focus on the game plan. And it's almost like he throws the game plan out of the window and just resorts to, trading bombs with people, trying to be macho. And to me, that's a lack of IQ, in my opinion, when you are so willing to just throw the game plan out of the window, even if it's working, just to try to prove to somebody that you a gangster, or you can sit in the heat, or like you tougher than this guy, that you got heart. There's times where it's great to showcase heart, and if you have to use it, by all means, do it. If nothing else works, if you have to if you got to bring that dog out in order to, get these rounds, to get these last rounds to win the fight, fuck it. It is what it is. But I seen that Erickson Lubin pretty much abandons his game plans. You know what I'm saying? And he likes to try to prove that he's macho. And I said that if he did that with Vergil Ortiz, things are not going to go too well for him. And that's exactly what he did, in my opinion. I seen this man standing square on the ropes, which is definitely a no-no in boxing. Like, that's one of the things that, I teach my amateurs. Like, we don't sit on the ropes and take punishment. You know what I mean? And if our back do go to the ropes, then we have to find a way out, whether it's using our side-to-side movement, whether we check hooking off of the ropes, whether we tying someone up and getting back to the center of the ring. There's multiple ways to get up out of those situations, but Erickson Lubin chose the worst possible choice against somebody like Vergil Ortiz, and that's shelling up with a high guard against the ropes. And we've seen fights where Vergil Ortiz has clearly shown to be able to manipulate the high guard and punish motherfuckers through the high guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember that one clip that Vergil Ortiz had with Mazuma, where he had he pretty much faked the swipe down on Mazuma. Mazuma picked the glove up just for Vergil Ortiz to land the vicious body shot that he had landed on Mazuma. Like, Vergil Ortiz knows how to approach those situations. So the fact that you gave that to him, it was essentially a layup. You see what I mean? So, and another thing that I didn't really understand was that when you watch the clip, Vergil Ortiz was effectively cutting off the ring, but Lubin clearly had an exit. You see what I mean? When Vergil Ortiz was dropping those right hooks over the top, bro, he literally had the exit to go to his right and reset and keep it at the center of the ring. But He literally was just flustered by Vergil Ortiz. He panicked. He didn't know what to do. So he sat there and took those punches. And there was one, and another thing that I wanted to note, there was a left hook that Vergil Ortiz had caught Lubin with early in the second round that definitely got Lubin's attention, but he played it off. In my opinion, Vergil didn't really notice that he had Lubin hurt in that situation, but he did notice when he had Lubin against the ropes and he landed that big right hook, right? Landed a right hook. Boom. Erickson Lubin is still there taking the punishment. Vergil Ortiz, shoots off another combination. Boom, another right hook lands. So if Vergil Ortiz is hit, this is pretty much muscle memory to him. Okay, I keep landing this right hook. I'm going to keep landing this right hook. And so this does some sort of damage. So what does Vergil Ortiz do? Shortly after that, he swipes the guard down. And this was the nail in the coffin, in my opinion. This is what put Lubin's lights out. He swipes the guard down and he brings the right hook right over the top. Knocks Lubin is out of it. His hands drop. He doesn't know where he is. He's looking straight down at the canvas. And Vergil Ortiz noticed that he cut the angle beautifully. And I'm starting to notice that Robert Garcia and them, their fighters do really well with creating angles, and especially when they got their opponents against the ropes. Vergil Ortiz, I've seen Mikey Garcia do it against Dejan Zlatican and infamously Ban Rodriguez. They're really good at teaching their fighters how to create offense off of the angles. And thank God that referee was there to stop that fight in that moment, because if that referee would have been a little bit too far away from the action, you know what I'm saying, and he didn't had the necessary time to catch up and stop the fight, Vergil would have very well probably had Erickson Lubin rocking an oxygen mask leaving the ring. Like, it could have been that serious. You see what I'm saying? So great stoppage on the referee's part, in my opinion. He came in at the right moment, but Erickson Lubin was knocked out cold on his feet. Firefighters be killing me. But the referee stopped it at the right time. If not, Erickson Lubin could have been seriously hurt as a result of that. R3X he poses a great question. He says, do you think Lubin should have forced the clinch? Like I said, he could have took multiple approaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could have taken multiple approaches. Like I said, he could have tried to use his, footwork to get up off of the ropes and keep it in the center of the ring. He could have used his jab more. You know what I mean? Like, he could have clinched. Yes, he could have clinched and made the referee get involved. You know what I mean? That's a move that a lot of fans don't typically like. But at the end of the day, if you use it the right way, and if you don't use it excessively, it could be a huge help for you to continue implementing your game plan. Absolutely. But I think what really had Erickson Lubin hesitant to stand in the center of the ring, Anonymous, was the counters that Vergil had. You know what I mean? I think the counter punching, now that I'm really thinking about it, the counter punching may have really discouraged Erickson Lubin in, creating offense. So he was like, all right, let me just bring him over here, which was a terrible strategy overall. But he might have looked at it as like his last resort, try to counter him effectively off of the ropes. You know what I mean? Try to catch, Vergil, lacking, in between punches, and probably be able to hurt Vergil. But, Vergil, he thrives in those types of situations. You know what I'm saying? He punches in combinations. He punches with bad intentions. And the way that he's okay with, being a volume puncher, he's likely going to get you before you get him. You see what I mean? That boy Mick is in the building. Mick been in the chat heavy lately. He says, I don't think he had a choice not to go onto the ropes to start with. Though the winning punch was perfect, by the way, Ortiz didn't mean to hit him around the back of the head to start with. We know that. I don't think you needed to say that, but it is what it is. Mick follows through and says, to start with, I don't think he could have came off of the ropes. Of course he could have. You can't say that he couldn't have, Mick. You know what I'm saying? You have options in there. You see what I mean? He could have definitely attempted to clinch, Vergil Ortiz and get the referee to break it up or whatever the case is. He had choices. You know what I mean? And he chose to sit there and absorb punishment, which is like one of the worst options that you could ever choose, in my opinion. You know what I mean? If you want to make it an ugly fight and tie him up and smother Vergil Ortiz, then by all means, he should have just did that. But the problem is a lot of people don't really know what to do when they get hurt. You know what I mean? There's people who what am I looking at, Mick? You said look at it 30 seconds before he got knocked out. What are we looking at? What I'm telling you is you saying that he couldn't have came off the rope. So you telling me if while Vergil Ortiz was attempting to come on the inside, if Erickson Lubin would have tied him up, grabbed him, that wouldn't have made the referee get involved, split them up, and had them start right back in the center of the ring? Is that what you're telling me? Because I've never heard of a situation where a fighter couldn't clinch. Like, I've never heard of that, unless they ain't fucking have arms. I've never heard of that. The general consensus is Erickson Lubin did not fight the way that he should have. Very disappointing performance. And it really makes me think what's really out there for Erickson Lubin at this point, because that may have very well have been your last big opportunity. You fumbled that fight with Jermell Charlo. You know what I mean? You got caught early. You got caught cold with a shot you did not see. All right, cool. You was able to run off some wins. Then you know, when you were the number one guy in the WBC, you gave Sebastian Fundora an opportunity. You know what I mean? Maybe you fell victim to the politics of boxing, because you know the WBC, they like to hold people off, especially when they don't deem them to be profitable. So maybe they didn't want Erickson Lubin possibly getting that title because they probably felt like the sanctioning fees they was going to get off of him probably wasn't, what they were looking for. You know what I'm saying? But Erickson Lubin, bro, you lost to Sebastian Fundora when you could have very possibly beat him. I think he had a horrible approach in trying to trade fire with Fundora when that's literally all he's known to do. You know what I mean? Like, Sebastian Fundora isn't this outboxer. He's not a hit and get hit and not get hit type of fighter. You know what I mean? He's a type of fighter who he'll take two punches to land one. And he's trying to outwill you. He's trying to outdog you. He's trying to break you by continuing to put pressure on him. You see what I'm saying? Erickson Lubin chose to fight that fight, and his face got all broke up, looking like Martin when he got fucked up by Tommy Hearns, right? Cool. So then you run off a few more wins. You go and you fight Vergil Ortiz. You got stopped within 2 rounds. So you got 2 fights where you've been stopped you got stopped out of the 3 losses that you had. You've been stopped all 3 times. And both of them, you got stopped in 2 rounds or less. It's not a really good look at all. You see what I mean? So what's next for Erickson Lubin, man? I don't know. It depends on what approach he's willing to take. Is he gonna be okay with taking that gatekeeper role and fighting these elite contenders at 154 and seeing what these contenders are really made of? Do you go up to 160? What fights are really out there for Erickson Lubin? I see a few people in it. Specifically, I see Anonymous. He said Tim Tszyu versus Lubin is a good fight. That's definitely a good fight. That's definitely a good fight because you got both guys who, are in tough spots right now in their career. You know what I mean? They both got stopped in their latest fight. So, this one right here will definitely be a crossroads fight for either one. Whoever loses that one, they're done. This ain't the UFC where you could be, 20-12, you know what I mean, and still be the biggest star in the UFC. No, this is boxing. So it takes a small amount of losses in order to derail your entire career. So where both of these guys are at right now, they coming off of multiple losses. You know what I mean? Stopped multiple times. You feel what I'm saying? So that's actually an ideal fight for both of these guys. You know what I mean? Like middle of 2026, that'd probably be a good one. That'd probably be a good one. I don't see why that wouldn't happen. I actually like that fight a lot. And it says, I'll say Lubin's, Errol Spence, or Harrison. Okay. Lubin versus Harrison is good too. It's going to be very interesting to see where it's going to be very interesting to see what Errol Spence chooses to do. I was kind of disappointed. I seen Errol Spence in the building. He looked like he was healthy, looked like he was in shape, looked like he was in positive spirits. It was really good to see Errol because you haven't been seeing him since he was lost to Terrence Crawford. But I was kind of disappointed that the media out here just asking him about Jake Paul and shit. Bro, ask him about him. He's been off of the radar for 2 fucking years. You can't tell that. You can't ask this man what's going on with his career. Now, if somebody did do that, please let me know so I could watch the video. But from the clips that I've been seeing, people asking him the dumbest fucking questions. Shit that ain't got nothing to do with Errol. Man, if Jake Paul offered you a bag, would you fight him? Errol Spence like looking at this nigga like, bro, he really wasting my motherfucking time. Like that's disappointing for the media to have them shitty ass line of questions for Errol Spence, in my opinion. Yeah, he definitely. I would be irritated too. I would be irritated too if I was Errol. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking to me about Jake Paul? And I can understand why Errol Spence hasn't been really accessible. I can see why he's not that accessible. Why would you want to deal with people like that? I would have been asking, bro, how are you? We haven't spoke to you in a long time, man. How's everything been going with the family? I see you've been taking up soccer. Like, you've had a lot of time to reflect on your career. What is it that you have in mind? You don't necessarily have to say you have a fight date, but the boxing world misses Errol Spence, man. The boxing world misses Errol Spence. What's going on? Could you give us any type of update with what's going on with you? Fuck the cameras, fuck the fight. You know what I mean? You coming to watch as you spectating, you watching the fights. They in Texas, why not? We want to know what's going on with you. Why can't nobody ask that? Like, I didn't really understand that. I was kind of disappointed with that. I heard one guy mention his daughter playing soccer. Other than that, it was Jake Paul questions. I mean, that's a good question. You know what I'm saying? Because it's clear that Errol Spence ain't really, it's a possibility. He's probably not even worried about boxing right now, but there are rumors that he should be returning in early 2026. Could you address those rumors? Like, I see Errol Spence been playing soccer too. Man, you look like you haven't been blowing up in weight, man. What you got? You been staying in shape? What's going on? Ask him about Frank Martin fighting Rancis Bartholomew, right? Like, these are the things that pop up in my head, and I'm not. And y'all know what it is. I don't really do interviews all too often. I don't really find much joy in doing them. You know what I mean? I just like to talk my boxing, chopping it up with the people. You know what I mean? That's what I really find enjoyable. Coming on live every night and just chopping it up with the people, speaking about a sport that I love. You feel me? That's what this channel, that's what motivates me. I don't really like doing interviews all like that. But whenever I do an interview, I ask the right shit. So it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it looks like Erickson Lubin has an easy time making a weight. So I don't know if a 160 move up is something that his body needs, but it might. Maybe that additional 6 pounds probably will help with his punch resistance. It may do some wonders for him. He might actually find the lane at 160. You know what I'm saying? Even though there's some dogs up there, like, you might not want to run into no Erislandy Lara. You know what I mean? I don't know if you want to run into no Carlos Adames. You feel me? But he probably do something like what's up with what was that kid name? Elijah. He lost to Karan Davis. Elijah. Fuck, I forgot his name. No. We don't want Erickson Lubin anywhere near Jonabek. Absolutely not. Elijah Garcia. There you go. Sorry about that. Lubin low-key would beat Elijah. That's a possibility. That's a good fight. Why not? Why not? Fuck it. But Lubin versus Brandon Adams. Brandon Adams might be too much for him. Brandon Adams might be too much for Lubin right now. Y'all think that Lubin has success against Brandon Adams? Brandon Adams a dog. He durable as fuck. If they go band for band, I got Brandon Adams. You know what I'm saying? Lubin versus Charlo too. You better leave. Don't put Lubin anywhere near Charlo. Yeah, Adams a monster, bro. That nigga was walking through Serhii Bohachuk's punches and was fucking Bohachuk up in that last fight. Brandon Adams, like, he's not like elite level, but like he not A level, but he like right underneath that. Like he like a wild card for real. Like he the type dude that he probably lose to, this one guy, but then he'll upset the motherfucker that everybody think a problem. You feel what I mean? Yeah, Brandon Adams might be too much for Lubin. Too tough. And he could really punch. And if Lubin try to trade fire with him, something similar might happen to him. Sean Porter-esque. They don't fight anything alike. You know what I mean? They don't fight nothing alike. But I get what you mean. I think what you're trying to say is that he's game, that he could give anybody problems. He's a good measuring stick for an elite level guy. You talking about Junior Yonan? I think he was a super middleweight. We tried to fight him a long time ago, but I don't know what happened with that. One of my old pros, we was trying to get that fight with him, but on Showbox, but for some reason we couldn't get it. You said nah, just based on how you describe being at the level and possibly upsetting someone. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like game. That's what I mean. Like game, like they good for a rumble. Like they gonna give you a good fight and they gonna give it everything they got. And that usually entails them giving elite level guys issues. Yeah, like Sean Porter, he had some good wins. Brandon Adams he got some solid wins. You know what I mean? They typically, they may most likely lose to an elite level guy like Jamal Charlo beat Brandon Adams and shit like that. But they could really turn it up one night and really fuck somebody's head up. Like niggas was piping up Bohachuk, man. And Brandon Adams beat him previously, but there was people that thought Bohachuk was going to beat Brandon Adams. And Brandon Adams, he fucked a lot of people parlay up. I know that for a fact. Yeah, leave. Yeah, Lubin don't need a Brandon Adams fight. He don't need a Charlo too. I'm agreeing with Anonymous on this one. I think that him versus the one I like the most, I like that Tim Tszyu fight. That's a good one. That's a good fight. If he wants a softer touch, pause, then Tim Tszyu coming back, him versus Tony Harrison will be a good fight. And I think he'll beat Tony Harrison. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. But that's what went wrong with Erickson Lubin for the most part. Now, let me see. Anonymous follows up. He says, I just feel like Lubin probably hasn't got all the money he wants in the sport. So if he wants to fight, still go for the lower level fights. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much money Erickson Lubin has. But yeah, I know he ain't making the craziest figures. You know what I mean? Like he ain't got Crawford, Canelo money. He ain't got that type money. You know what I mean? He probably got an You feel me? I don't know. I don't really feel comfortable asking niggas what they got or even thinking about what niggas got. But yeah, he probably gonna need a couple more dollars before he could be like, all right. You feel me? What I classify Mazuma and Brandon Adams is a great fight. Mazuma might be a little bit too much for Lubin, and Brandon Adams will be too much. If you're saying Mazuma versus Brandon Adams, yeah, that'll be a good fight. Robert Jenkins. Look at you having a look at you. Look at the biggest casual, the greatest casual of all times, Robert Jenkins saying something valid. Look at him. Good for you. Birdman in the building. He said, would you classify Lubin as a gatekeeper now? I don't think a loss against an elite level guy necessarily makes you a gatekeeper. I think what makes you a gatekeeper is the actions that you take. So let's say, for instance, Erickson Lubin's next fight, he fights, let's say he fight Boots. Let's say he fight Boots and then Boots washes him. And then, he faces, who's like a prospect at 54. Let's say Rashidi Ellis moves up and then, Erickson Lubin fights Rashidi Ellis and loses to Rashidi Ellis. Now it's going to start to look like, all right, you definitely a gatekeeper. What makes you a gatekeeper is the actions that you take, not necessarily the losses that you obtain in your career. You know what I mean? Because Erickson Lubin could easily, lose to, Vergil Ortiz like he just did, and then you'll be behind the scene, running some fights and win like 4 or 5 fights, you know what I mean, and get his bearings back, get a good win right here, and then he fighting for a world title again. Blasval saying, yeah, they Haitian. Yeah, they both Haitian. Yeah, I get it. You'll say Tellez. What's a perfect comeback fight for Errol Spence? I'd probably throw Tony Harrison at Errol Spence, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I know Errol Spence not a fan of tune-ups, but it's like, nigga, with everything that you going through and what you've been through, you gonna need one, nigga. I would not be mad if Errol Spence took like 2 or 3 tune-ups coming back. I really wouldn't. I really would not be mad. Yeah, wouldn't be mad at all. David said, Tellez is technically a contender. If he had like WBA regular, like you right at the cusp of fighting for a world title. So he's definitely a contender, but in my opinion, he's a green contender. So, they could fall. A prospect and a green contender could really fall hand in hand for real. David said Lubin looked like the definition of pillow fist. He tried to hit Ortiz hard and then got put out. Okay. Pagad Petit in the building. What up? Yeah, he only got like 12 fights. Yeah, but they clearly was moving him kind of fast. But let's get into this conversation, man. I think it's about time that we had this conversation. You feel what I mean? And I tried to tell y'all, man. I wasn't really, and like I said, I tried to remain optimistic for y'all, man, for the nation, for the mob. I try to remain optimistic in saying that, Vergil Ortiz versus Boots is a fight that's going to be happening. Both these guys want to fight. They're doing what they can. But to be honest, with how things are going right now, that song, It Takes Two to Make a Thing Go Right. It takes two to get that's a valid statement right there. It takes 2 to make a thing go right, especially in boxing. For a fight to really be put together, it takes 2 fighters to really be on the same page in order to get things on the up. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not necessarily calling out Vergil Ortiz and saying that, he's not really willing to make the fight. I think that if his team was really with it, I think he wouldn't mind taking the opportunity. I genuinely feel like, based off of how the way that Vergil Ortiz moves, I think he's admitted that he's hands off with the business. I think that he just does whatever his team tells him to do. He pays them to guide his career, so he lets them steer the ship. He doesn't really want any responsibility with, steering the ship on his own. He doesn't want to be hands-on. He doesn't really want to take a part in doing things. He just wants to box. It seems like he's not really too enthused with the business side, which is crazy to me. That's crazy to me. It's like, this is your career. You see what I mean? And if you play your cards right, you could build generational wealth for your entire family for generations to come. You see what I mean? Eddie Reynoso does the same thing for Canelo. No, Canelo is hands-on with his business. Trust and believe that. Eddie Reynoso is his manager, but Canelo has the ultimate say. So it seems like Vergil just lays back and let them do what they're doing. He just goes with the wave. He goes with the flow. Canelo's not a go with the flow type of nigga. He calls all the shots at the end of the day. He was like that when he was with Golden Boy. He's like that now as a free agent. You feel me? Vergil Ortiz, he lets other people steer the ship. He just wants to fall back and do specifically what he's there to do, and that's fight. And I guess that's okay, but when you have these certain circumstances in front of you, especially when you're in demand for a huge mega fight, one of the biggest fights to be made in the sport of boxing today, you might have to get up out your seat a little bit. You might have to get up out of bed, walk down them steps and, put some motherfucking work in, do things on your own accord. You feel me? Because if you a little bit too lax, your team could really fuck up some moves for you when you could have easily intervened and made the shit happen. You feel me? And I really noticed that with the Xander Zayas situation. I keep bringing it up, but it's relevant, considering what's going on with, Boots and Vergil right now. And I know Vergil just fought, so a lot of things could happen within the next week or two or in a month or two. So maybe I'm speaking, a little bit ahead of the curve. However, with that Xander Zayas situation, that should have been something that Vergil Ortiz jumped on immediately. That should have been a situation where Vergil was like, yo, make this fucking fight happen. Because he could have beat Xander. I'm not going to lie. And that fight might actually come up in the future. Who knows? But when that fight could have been made, Vergil should have took the chances necessary to solidify that fight, even if that meant him fighting the San Juan. Vergil Ortiz's team insists that, this is a 50-50 situation. And this is why I believe De La Hoya when he's talking this, oh, Vergil holds all the cards. Oh, he has the say so. He has pretty much trying to put him in the A side with Jaron Ennis, which makes absolutely no sense. And I'll follow up with this, Oscar. If he holds all the cards, why is the manager coming out here saying that don't offer them nothing less than 7 zeros on the check, which is 10 mil plus? There's 7 zeros on the check. That's 10 million plus. They're not saying 7 figures. They're saying 7 zeros, bro. So if y'all saying y'all the A side and then the manager is pretty much saying don't offer nothing less than 7 zeros, wouldn't that make Boost the A side? Don't the A side be the ones who send the offers? If y'all the A side like y'all claim, why don't y'all send Boost the offer? Ain't that how that work in business? Y'all send Xander an offer, right? Why not send Boost an offer? How y'all gonna say y'all hold all the cards and y'all flexing as if y'all that's A side, yet y'all are looking for Boost to send y'all the offer? It sounds like Boost the A side based off of what y'all saying. But anyways, to defer back to the situation between Xander and Vergil Ortiz, the moment that Xander put out there, yes, we can make this fight happen. Let's make this shit happen in Puerto Rico. Vergil Ortiz should have been packing his shit up, and getting ready to go over to Puerto Rico to fight Xander Zayas. There's nothing you could tell me to make it seem like that move that he made was all right. And the fact that Vergil Ortiz was so laid back and letting his team fuck up that situation for him, that's concerning for me. And Vergil, I don't care what the fans say. Nigga, you need to. You dumbass nigga. See, This is what bothers me, and I hear fighters that I like say it too. Oh, I don't really care what the fans think. I don't care what the fans think, bro. Without the fans, y'all niggas will be nobodies. Y'all need to stop acting like, oh, you know, if it makes business sense, bro. It only makes business sense if the fans are invested. You fucking dummy. You know that, right? These promoters ain't gonna pay you unless they feel like the fans is gonna give them their return on investment. These networks ain't gonna give they're not gonna front the promoters the bread for you to get paid, for you to get compensated if they don't feel like the fans are gonna be attracted to the fight. So I just find it so funny that these boxers say that they don't care about fans, like they don't care what the fans think, they don't care what the fans say, and all that shit. But then, you know what I mean? Y'all on social media begging motherfuckers to buy the pay-per-view. Y'all sitting up here. How can y'all not care what the fans think? But then, you know, whenever y'all selling the fight or whatever the case is, y'all over here saying, oh, man, you know, subscribe to the Zone, you know, buy the pay-per-view. Oh, tickets are on sale now. Bro, you don't care about what the fans think, so why the fuck would they even care about supporting you? Motherfuckers just want shit all in their favor. No, if you want motherfuckers to buy into you and make you a star and, you know, get multi-million-dollar checks, you have to be tapped in with the fans and listen to what they got to say. That's the reality of the situation. Oh, man, fuck fans. Boxing fans, they fickle. Bro, everybody, sports fans is fickle. Fans in general, they fickle. That's what it is. You ever see Wallow with $1 million worth of game with Gilly every time like a new team wins or something? He coming out with the jersey. It's what do they call it? That's like satire. Like he's being, you know, he's joking and shit like that. But fans are like that. You know what I mean? You think that fans are just gonna support you, No, there's gonna be some fake motherfuckers. Just like in your family, there's gonna be some solid motherfuckers in your family. There's gonna be some flaky motherfuckers in your family. But you gotta deal with them regardless. You feel me? The fans are the same exact way. You might have a mother or a father who's, you know, a fickle person, a two-faced person, or, you know, they might have some fucked up ways, but you still got to deal with them, right? You have a relationship, so you got to deal. There may be some things about your girlfriend that you like and some things you dislike, but you chose to be with her. You chose to be in this relationship with her, so you have to deal with that. It is what it is. So, to continue going on with my point, the fact that Vergil Ortiz fell back and let Golden Boy, let his manager, let his father fuck up that situation. And then I'm going to blame it on De La Hoya. I'm going to blame it on Golden Boy. The fact that Golden Boy allowed that fight to be fumbled for Vergil Ortiz when they've been trying to make it seem like Vergil said at that post-fight press conference yesterday and said, I want all the belts. Nigga, if you want all the belts, why are you allowing your team to fuck up opportunities for you to win belts? Did Vergil Ortiz not say that in that post-fight press conference last night? That man stood up on that fucking podium and he said, I want all the belts. Okay, if that's what you want, you need to be more hands-on with your business, nigga. So whenever these opportunities arise, you'll be ready. You'll be ready. And what did you do? You fumbled that fucking Xander bag. And the whole time you did Xander a favor, because guess what? The nigga's about to unify. And if he beats Barao, I don't know how that fight's going to go. I got to do a little bit more studying. And you never really know what boxing anyway. If Xander wins, he going to have 2 belts. Why are you struggling to find one? You should be embarrassed that you let this young nigga come into the 154-pound division, grab that WBO title, then offer you a fight in Puerto Rico. Y'all over here trying to flex as if this is a 50-50 situation, as if y'all some sort of champions. Bro, you don't have no leverage over Xander Zayas, bro. You don't. Once he got that strap, you're below him. It ain't like Vergil sell hella tickets. What type of numbers he doing? He doing multi-million-dollar gates? Is he selling pay-per-views? Is there something going on that I don't know? Who the fuck is Vergil Ortiz to be going 50-50 with any champion in boxing right now? I want somebody to give me like the proper reasoning behind why Vergil and his team feel like they're like on the same level as his Anders. No, you're an interim champ. He's a fucking full status champion. He is one of the champions in the division and because of that, he's one of those guys. You're one of those guys as well, but it's just different when you gotta it's different. It's different. Like Carmelo Anthony, hell of a player, Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? But then you got motherfuckers like, I don't want to say like a crazy ass name, but let's say for instance, you got Giannis, Antetokounmpo, right? They just on different levels. It's a different situation. You on a different level once you got that ring. So they fucked up that situation for Vergil. They didn't want the fight in Puerto Rico. They wanted to be at a neutral location. They wanted to be 50-50. Who the fuck are y'all? Who the fuck are y'all to tell a champion where the fight should be? You have to listen to him. Like Floyd had to listen to De La Hoya. Like Errol Spence had to listen to Kell Brook. It's their terms or it's nothing. You see what I mean? Learn from your fellow Texas brother, man. If Vergil Ortiz was more hands-on with his business and be a little bit more assertive and telling his fucking handlers what to do, probably be a world champion right now. Or at least be fighting for a world title next. Y'all turned down demands from Xander Zayas to fight Erickson Lubin. That's corny to me. And since y'all bringing it up, Anonymous and Bella brought it up back to back. Well, it's separate things, but they both bringing up Ortiz's manager. You know what's weird about the dude? His name on Instagram is like promoter 559 or some shit like that, or some type of numbers. Are you a manager or are you a promoter? Because you can't be both. Stupid ass. That goes against the Muhammad Ali Act. So what is that? What is it that you are exactly? Are you a manager or are you a promoter? Anyways, I'm seeing his goofy ass running all over the internet, putting up a picture of Vergil Ortiz and Jake Paul, saying, "Oh, I might have went a little bit far with this one, or did I?" And then tagged Oscar De La Hoya. So he might just very well be trolling like motherfucking Jaron Ennis was trolling, talking about how he didn't make the flight. And next thing you know, he over there an hour later, which means he was there the whole time. Boxer Sparring said Ali Act went bye-bye in California, bro. That's just California, brother. I think the law still stands that you cannot be a manager and you cannot be a promoter. Not only that's what they, I don't think that's what they were looking to modify in the Muhammad Ali Act anyway. But anyways, Vergil Ortiz manager puts that out. Vergil Ortiz versus Jake Paul. Then these motherfuckers are talking, and Vergil Ortiz said this out his own mouth, so I know that they're influencing his mind. They brainwashing him to feel like that this is okay. Oh, if it's up to me and I don't care what fans say. If he's saying that he don't care what fans say, it's probably because he knows that what he's about to say is some fuck shit. Or he knows that boxing fans are going to agree with it because they know that that's not the fight. They know that it's not the fight. Nobody is demanding Errol Spence to fight Vergil Ortiz right now. It's like that's not happening. If I put up a poll right now, who do you want to see fight? Vergil versus Errol, Vergil versus Boots. It's going to be a shutout. 12-0, 120-108 across the motherfucking card. There's nobody that's going to pick an Errol Spence fight unless you're that scared of Boots or unless you're that hateful of Boots. If your hate supersedes your demands as a boxing fan, you have some issues. You need to seek therapy immediately. If you hate Jaron Ennis more than you love boxing, there's something seriously wrong with you, and he probably fucked your mom. I don't know what type of time. You got some deep, bitter resentment that needs to be checked out. You and Gervonta need to pull up to the same therapist and go fix whatever the fuck y'all got going on inside y'all. Nobody is saying they want the Errol Spence fight over the Jaron Ennis fight for Vergil Ortiz. Simple and plain. There's some niggas who are, I don't even want to put the poll up, Dust. Like, I see what you're saying, but it's like, for what? Like, that's, I know niggas would probably troll and pick the Errol one just to be funny, but the general consensus is we read it's a damn near a fact. The hotter fight between Errol and Boots for Vergil is Boots. Hands down, no debate. Now, if I'm thinking about things from a business standpoint, would the Errol Spence fight be lucrative? Yes, because these guys have a storyline. They trained out of the same gym. Their names been tied together back in the 147-pound days. They both from Texas. They do that fight in Cowboy Stadium. It might do some numbers. But boxing is bigger than just Texas, y'all. Boxing is a global sport. Texas may want it, but does the boxing world want it? I think the boxing world's, demand supersedes, what one state wants out of boxing. That's just me. You feel me? And I don't even know if Errol Spence will come back to face Vergil Ortiz coming off of a layoff and a knockout loss. I don't know that. And the fact that you're willing to fight Errol Spence over Jaron Ennis after that nigga came, he flew out to your city, came in the ring, was pointing at you and said, yo, I'm going to make you pay for all the shit that you and your people been talking. As a man, you shouldn't want no other fight besides that because he low-key just threatens you in that ring. I know some niggas don't really fall too deep into their pride and shit like that, but at the end of the day, as a man, bro, this motherfucker flew out. I don't know how far Philly is from Texas. Let me see how far this flight is. That's about a 3-hour and some change flight. Damn near 4 hours. This nigga took 4 hours out of his life to pull up on you and say he want to beat you the fuck up in front of all your people. Didn't give a fuck that niggas was booing. None of that. Like that doesn't challenge your pride at all. That doesn't piss you off. You was over here trying to celebrate one of the biggest victories in your career. This motherfucker just storms on your parade and talks about how he wants to beat your ass. He's willing to put up any type of money. He say all your people been talking shit and they gonna pay for the things that they've been saying. That don't trigger you. You over here talking about Errol Spence. Errol Spence ain't jumping the motherfucking ring to talk about rumbling you. He came to watch just because it was by the crib. And that's who you want to fight? Oh, that's your dream fight. How the fuck is that in the current state that Errol Spence is in right now? How could you look at that as a dream fight? That ain't the man down Errol Spence who was running shit up and beating the shit out of Chris Van Heerden and Philo Greco and Kell Brook and Lamont Peterson. That's not the Errol you facing. That Errol is long gone, in my opinion. So why is this still a dream of yours? He's clearly a diminished version of himself. He's clearly on the decline. We're not seeing that same Errol again. When you go through what Errol went through and you took the punishment that you took in that last fight, shit changes. Unless this motherfucker Errol is like Megatron in the flesh, or this nigga just has a level of resiliency that I've never seen before. Since like fucking Edwin Valero. I just don't see it happening. So So with what Oscar De La Hoya is saying, what Vergil Ortiz's manager is saying, Vergil's dad talking about Boo's got to earn his way. Like, bro, where did you get this sense of superiority from? Y'all niggas are nobodies in the division. Championships make you a somebody in the division. And until you grab one of them or have had one of them, you can't sit around flexing like you the man. Fucking Floyd Mayweather had to run up 5 divisions before he became the man. Terrence Crawford had to run up 5 divisions. He had to move up 2 weight classes to become the man. You get a fucking interim title and y'all flexing like y'all them niggas. Who told you that? Who told you that? You guys are not above Jaron Ennis in any sort of way. Jaron Ennis is the more accomplished fighter. Yeah, you got the better resume at 54. You got 4 more fights than a nigga in the weight class. But Boosa actually became lineal champion, unified champion, Ring Magazine champion, all while being at 147, and you have trouble getting a 1 belt, you fucking dummy. Y'all niggas is flexing interim titles like y'all was clowning Benavidez for that. Remember that? When he was being avoided by Canelo and his team was carrying around his WBC interim title. Look at this fucking guy Benavidez, man. He's fucking flexing interim belts. But y'all niggas somehow, some way, niggas want to just give Vergil all the kudos in the world for having an interim belt. Until you have the belt, you are not somebody in the division unless you sell a shit ton of tickets. Vergil ain't no high ticket selling ass nigga. Boots sell more than him. Boots sell more than him, bro. When Vergil Ortiz put 14 to 16,000 people in an arena? When? How many people did he put, with Erickson Lubin? Can somebody tell me that? Can somebody please let me know how many people was in attendance for that fight? Did he sell out? Did he sell out the Dickey Arena? I'm looking for it right now, y'all. I'm looking. I don't see no information telling us how many tickets he sold, what the gate was, none of that. So what's giving these guys? That's what I'm trying to figure out now. If Vergil was like this unified champion or even had a world title at 54 and he's selling tickets and he running them numbers up, breaking records, and I'm like, all right, Boots is gonna have to figure that out. He's just gonna have to figure it out. It is what it is. Some motherfuckers, you gotta come in the B side in order to become the A side forever. That's what Floyd had to do for De La Hoya. You know what I mean? Like he had to bow down to all the Oscar demands until he beat Oscar. Then he never had to submit to anybody again. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I think Floyd had to do it for Arturo Gotti too. These are things that need to be done in order to become the man. So if Vergil was doing this, all right, it is what it is. But these niggas is flexing and flashing as if they're him, and they're not. They're not. The niggas who could honestly say that they're them niggas in the division, Jermell Charlo got more of a case than you because ain't nobody ever beat him for his titles. You could make a case that he's still the man because the only reason why he don't got them belts is because of that Canelo fight. He can make a case that he's still the man. Y'all said Josh Taylor was still the man after he got stripped of all his titles. Y'all gave T.O. all the credit in the world after he beat him. Jermell, you got to keep the energy consistent. Y'all want to get that motherfucking white boy credit? I need to go ahead and give Jermell Charlo credit. Sebastian Fundora, regardless of how we feel about him, he's one of those guys in the division. Former unified champion, He gave up one of the belts because he felt like ducking a nigga. He dug Xander. Xander is one of those guys. Abbas Barao, he's one of those guys. Bakram Mortazaliev, he's one of those guys. Until somebody dethrones him or until somebody becomes undisputed, they all have a case for being those guys. And even though Bakram Mortazaliev is tied up with a mandatory right now with Josh Kelly, y'all made your excuses for why. See, this is what I don't understand, right? Because they always seem to got an excuse whenever they do some fuck shit, right? So they were talking about, oh, Boots talking about he wants 2 tune-ups, which is completely disregarded because Boots is that's completely nullified, whatever you want to say. That's completely thrown out of the window. That's dead because he's saying he want to fight y'all next, and he's only had one fight in the division. He probably sold 8K tickets. I was there. It wasn't packed to capacity. Okay, that's good to know. I wonder how much of those Terrence Smith. I wonder how much of those tickets was what that complimentary, aka free, because they do that too. If they see that they undersell, they'll give away some tickets just to fill in the arena a bit more. I've seen that happen. But anyways, to go back to what I was saying. Okay, people saying he ain't sell out in his own hometown. The Wells Fargo holds 21,000 people. It's called the Xfinity Mobile, whatever the fuck they want to call it now. Boots had damn near sold it out fighting David Evanesian, fighting Karen Chukazan in a rematch. Those type of guys, he damn near sold out the Wells Fargo. You had a credible opponent in Erickson Lubin, and you couldn't fill that bitch up, but somehow, some way, Golden Boy want to sit here and act like they're the guys, they hold all the cards. Says who? Says who? Do you remember when De La Hoya just tried to do that with William Cepeda and Shakur? He was like, oh, my fighter, William Cepeda, he's so badass that he's ranked in every sanctioning body. Yeah. And we're not going to allow Shakur to dictate anything because we have options. Yeah. Try to flex on Shakur like Cepeda somebody. Huh? Niggas need to humble themselves, man. I'm telling you. So I ain't gonna lie. Do I want to see Vergil and Boots fight? Yes. Do I believe that they'll fight each other? Yes. But there's clearly people that have opposing opinions over on Vergil Ortiz's side. As soon as I heard Vergil Ortiz dad say that Boots has to earn his way, I already seen the plot coming. I already knew what type time they was going to be on. His team is definitely doing him a disservice, Ralph. Back to what I was saying about Bakram Mortazaliev, right? He caught up with his fight with Josh Kelly in the mandatory. It is what it is. He got to fulfill that. That's part of being a champion, especially when niggas don't want to unify, right? Cool. Y'all make excuses and y'all say, oh, this is the point that I was making. Y'all saying that y'all don't want to fight for the IBF because you know, it's a 10-pound rehydration clause, and Vergil won't be healthy at 164 pounds, right? Y'all also follow up with saying that y'all took 2 tune-ups with Thomas Delorme, who I believe started his career at 135, and Frederick Lawson. So I don't even know what the fuck happened to Frederick Lawson since losing to, Vergil Ortiz. You feel me? But they said that they took those 2 tune-ups because they was concerned for Vergil's health, and they wanted to see how he felt in a division. Because they was contemplating retirement if his health continues persistent, right? Vergil, miss me with the bullshit because you should have known after the first fight that you was good to go. You took that additional tune-up for what? Reassurance? That first fight gave you all the reassurance you needed. You made the weight. You didn't get sick. You put on a great performance. Why did you need an additional tune-up? So while you over here trying to push this narrative that Boost wants 2 tune-ups, you in reality took 2 tune-ups. So you ain't got no room to be talking about any fucking body. You feel me? Your body was literally deteriorating because you was trying to be a fucking weight bully, trying to get down to a weight that you had no fucking business in. You moved up to 154. You put on that additional 7 pounds. That was enough for your body to hold. You should have known that after that fight. all right, you know what I mean? Let me get myself back into the division. He said, Mazuma, don't do that. Don't do what? Terrence? What'd I say? Then, so it's like, bro, you made the weight, you making the weight comfortably from what I understand. Your health issues are no longer a thing because you're at the right weight class. You're healthy at the weight, but somehow, some way, 10 pounds ain't enough for you to put on. You already moved up in weight. You moved up an additional 7 pounds. A 10-pound rehydrate. You still fairly new to the division. An additional 10 pounds on top of the 54 ain't enough for you to fight Bakram. Bakram going through the same shit you going through. What's the problem? It ain't like you the only one who's doing the 10-pound rehydration clause. I don't be understanding this shit, bro. Vergil and them, they always got an excuse. They want point fingers and talk about how niggas don't want to do this and don't want to do that. Whole time y'all moving flaky as shit too. Golden Boy got you on the same program that they had Ryan Garcia on before they cashed him out. The same program they had Jaime McGee on before they cashed him out. The same program that they had Canelo on until they cashed him out. Same thing they do on Floyd Schofield. They doing the same shit with Vergil. They might believe in Vergil a little bit more than Schofield. They might believe in him more than anybody else. But you on that same protection program. You remember when Floyd Schofield released some screenshots and they was talking about, yo, we want that fight with Shakur. He was like, no, don't take that fight with Shakur. Why fight Shakur now when I could keep you undefeated for 10 years? Yeah. No. All my guys are leaving. Yeah, all my guys is leaving. Canelo left me. Ryan wants to leave. I need another star. Munguia left me. Munguia left me after I got him a fight. I got him a fight with Canelo and he left me. He joined Canelo. Please don't leave, Vergil. We keep you undefeated. No, don't fight Boots. That's dangerous fight. Don't fight Boots. He's a badass. Fuck. Just stay patient. I'll talk about him on my Clapback Thursdays. I ran out of stars. I can't box no more. I can't fill up arenas, but maybe you can. Yeah. No, Vergil, you're a star. You don't have to go to Puerto Rico. Make that motherfucker come here. I can't stand Puerto Ricans. You see they robbed me with Trinidad. We're not going to Puerto Rico. They'll rob me. They'll rob you too. Yeah. Take that thong out your ass, Oscar. And let these motherfuckers rumble. Stop being you was a brave fighter. I don't understand why you so pussy as a promoter. Walking around with that girl you fucking with, her face all plastic the fuck up. She got you sculpting your abs, doing surgery and shit, wearing thongs. Thong all up the crack of your ass, shadow boxing. Stop being a fucking pussy, Oscar. Believe in your product, man. And trust me, if Vergil fights Boots and he loses the Boots, he's still going to be a top guy at 54. He's just not going to be better than Boots, but let's say he beats Boots. You're going to get that star that you're looking for. You got to roll the dice. You can't be on this funny shit, man. And I heard people say, oh, well, Oscar, maybe he wants Boots and Vergil to get a title. Okay, if you want Vergil to get a title, stop flexing as if they're the fucking champions of right now. They're not. Shout out to the boy KBJ with the $5 super chat. He said, tough ass Oscar impression. Yeah. That's how you be talking. Same voice. Terrence Smith said they definitely trying to cash Schofield out. Oscar just posted Tank versus Schofield. The reason why they put in Tank versus Schofield is because they know Tank is not going to fight Schofield, and eventually, what they should have wrote was Tank's WBA title versus Schofield, vacant title versus Schofield, because they know eventually Gervonta Davis is going to. I don't understand why the WBA just doesn't strip Gervonta. What's going on? When's the last time this motherfucker fulfilled the mandatory? Like, what's going on? When they're going to strip him and have Floyd Schofield or Lucas Body or whatever the case is fight for the vacant WBA lightweight title? Let's get something popping. This motherfucker want to punch on bitches. He want to fight, Disney actors and shit like that, bro. Get that fucking title up off of him and give it to somebody who's willing to face actual competition and not partake in these dumbass little entertainment events. Greg's Oscar impression earlier is pure comedy. I didn't even see that. I'm gonna go check that out. Shout out to Greg. I'm gonna set something up with Greg soon. But talking about that's a man. They holding out for a Tank bag. I mean that gotta be the reason. There's no other way else. That it's for money. The reason is money, for sure. Because I think what they're thinking is, oh, well, Tank might come back. And, I think they just want to stay in Tank's good graces so Tank is, keep giving them percentages or whatever flat fee they got going on. You know what I mean? But, yeah, bro, like, it's disappointing hearing Vergil Ortiz's team talking the way they talking. Things got to be favorable. Manager talking about he need 10 mil plus. Like y'all niggas is just looking for an avenue. Like, since when y'all been worth that much? What the fuck does Vergil Ortiz bring? What type of money does he generate to be asking for $10 million? Because these niggas know the business more than I do. But I know enough to ask this question, and it's a valid one. Why would unless Turkey Al-Sheikh is just overpaying y'all niggas for whatever reason, and he probably not gonna pay y'all that much unless y'all fight in Riyadh. What's like? Let's say like it's a regular promoter, not somebody that's being backed by Saudi money or nothing like that. Who the fuck is gonna give Vergil $10 million to fight when they know that he doesn't even bring that amount of money as like a return on investment? Niggas not even gonna break even with Vergil. If you give Vergil $10 million, you damn near got to be okay with taking a loss. Why would you want to do that? Bethaniel, what's going on, brother? T said they want leverage. They want leverage. They're gonna say we have options like Spence, Charlo, and Fundora. Okay. They want leverage. What gives them that reassurance that Spence and Charlo and Fundora are options? Those are all PBC fighters. Who's to say that PBC is going to agree to give up either one of those guys for, Vergil Ortiz? Who's to say that those are realistic options? We don't know that. Did they sign contracts? Have they negotiated a fight? Is the WBC gonna mandate Fundora to face Vergil? Seem like they playing what they playing with their motherfucking toes. They acting like they got better shit to do. Charlo, who's to say Charlo's gonna be available? Who's to say Spence? We don't even know if Spence is coming back, and that's why it pissed me off that nobody asked him that fucking question. Who is Errol Spence's coach? We don't even know who the fuck he gonna be coming because he not with Derek James no more. Who the fuck is Errol Spence's coach? What weight is he gonna fight at? Because last time I heard, he said something about either 154 or 160. Where is he coming back to? Like, we don't even know these things, and Vergil wants to make it seem like that's an option. How we know that? When a nigga don't even got his own, he don't even, Earl Spence's career literally is so disorganized right now. How could you even realistically say that he's an option? Let's say it's realistic. T says, let's say it's realistic Vergil and Spence would do massive sales in Texas. That's their talking point. Okay. I understand. But there's a problem in just assuming that Earl Spence is an option. But you're saying, like, you speaking hypothetically. Okay, cool. I mean, that's a smart business move on Vergil Ortiz's part. But you can't be talking like, oh, Boost don't want to fight, Boost don't want to fight, Boost don't want to fight. Then the nigga pull up on you and be like, yeah, let's get it popping. And then you go take the lesser opponent, Earl Spence, right now. That's a duck. That's a duck. You feel me? And these dumbass boxing promoters and these boxers in general think that they just gonna keep giving us bullshit fights and we just gonna keep supporting. Y'all seen what was gonna happen with Tank and Jake Paul? They had that was a little bit of humble pie for them niggas over there. They seen them tickets wasn't selling. They seen that Tank was beating on the bitch. They used that as a scapegoat to cancel the fight because they knew they was underselling. Y'all peeped that, right? I hope y'all motherfuckers don't think that Jake Paul got some type of morals where he just believes in being against domestic violence and he pulled out of the fight off of principles. Nigga, no, he did not. Tank been punching on bitches. Tank been punching on bitches for a decade publicly. Y'all knew that when y'all first signed a fight with him. All of a sudden, y'all care about women's lives. No, y'all don't. Y'all care about that motherfucking bag. Y'all thought that fight was gonna sell. We faced a lot of criticism for that. Nobody wanted to pay for that shit, especially for them dumbass prices y'all had. Y'all thought niggas was about to come and watch a nigga with a 60-pound weight advantage fight Gervonta Davis. Like, nigga, we got real fights going on out here. Nigga, any minute they about to announce T.O. and Shakur. Like, nigga, like, we trying to get Boots and Vergil. Nigga, we about to see a fire-ass car November 22nd. Don't nobody want to watch that bullshit. Bro, I'm just saying that them niggas is full of shit. Teach. What? I made it sound horrible, but it's because it is. You think that Jake Paul and them give a fuck about Tank punching on a bitch? No, they don't. They don't give a fuck about what Tank doing in his personal life. They trying to run up a bag. They knew that Tank hit bitches way before he got sued. They knew this years ago that he got a tendency of putting hands on women. Right? They put this fight on. They thought it was gonna sell, and Tank was gonna make this much money, and people was defending it. You know, only Tank fans was defending it. Oh man, he about to make a big bag, man. Y'all hating because he about to get to the money, man. Y'all be hating on Tank, man. That nigga Tank, he can't do no wrong, man. I love Gervonta and his braids. They seen that them tickets wasn't selling. Because I'm gonna keep it a bean. Them Tank fans don't even be coming out the fights for real. A lot of these niggas, they be living through Tank. They be wanting his money, they be wanting his braids, they be wanting his swag. Whole time these niggas be sitting on their couch, belly button stanking like a motherfucker, bar of soap, dry as shit in their shower, dirty, broke, no money, no hoes. Get a text from their mom once a week, and they want to make it seem like they be out here supporting and shit. Y'all niggas don't even buy a pay-per-view. And I could tell, because if Tank fans is really out here how they claiming, that shit would have sold. It would have sold, but it didn't. Jake Paul and them, they started panicking like, shit, we about to lose money on this motherfucking event. We ain't about to make ourselves look bad in front of Netflix. So what y'all do? Y'all seen Tank was going through some shit. Yeah, seeing that he was getting sued. Yo, bro, we might as well just use this opportunity to get the fuck up out the way and try to come up with something better, man, because these tickets ain't selling, man. You know, if we undersell with Netflix, they ain't never gonna work with us again. We can't fuck up this business relationship, man. We gotta figure something out. Pulled the plug on Tank. Ain't give a fuck about no DV, nigga. MVP don't give a fuck about no DV. They care about money. Don't never get it fucked up. That money was looking a little funny. It was like, you know what? Let's get him the fuck up out of here. But I could be saying all of this, and Vergil, Ortiz, and Boost probably working on something now. We don't know. So I'm gonna try to have some type of. That's a wild ass name. This nigga God hates me. That's a wild name. God bless you, brother. But yeah, man. You spar Shakur. Oh, you talking about you speaking from Jake Paul's perspective? I would love to spar Shakur. I would get in shape just to spar Shakur. I'm saying that while I'm eating chips. Look at that. Chips on my beard talking about I want to spar Shakur. I got a long way to go, brothers and sisters. But yeah, I would love to spar Shakur. That'd be something. That'd be a great memory. But let's get into some open boxing topics, man. Shout out to the 38 people that's in the building. I hope the likes is up. I can't see the likes from here, but I hope they up. And if they not, please hit the like button. Let's get the algorithm on the up so the people know that Mazuma TV is live. We now got 40 people in here. We're about to be an hour and a half in. I'm highly appreciative of all the support that I've been receiving. What's on the people's minds, man? Y'all got any questions from Mazuma TV? Let me know. Let me go ahead and put the link in the chat for anybody that want to come through and show love. Unless you Robert Jenkins, don't come in here, man. We ain't got no time for the casual talk. I mean, and if I don't know you, you not coming on. We be having weirdos that be coming on here and be doing weird shit. So we not even gonna do that. What? 21 likes? That's crazy. Mm-hmm. The show stopped abruptly. You talking about last night, Bella? I hope you ain't talking about right now. That live was wild, bro. That was definitely wild. I don't know who dude was, but he was a weirdo for sure. Yeah, Bella, that was because a huge car accident happened outside. I said it earlier in the live. You know, allegedly 2 people was racing down my block. The niggas who was racing ate a red light and hit somebody that was passing through on a green light. The one who was racing, he hit a traffic pole. He hit the traffic light pole. The one who got hit, unfortunately, he hit a truck. The truck hit the Honda. The Honda hit my girl car. So it was basically a 5-car accident. and I hope this ain't true, but I did hear that the one who got hit may have passed away. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, RIP to that brother, man. That's very, very sad. You did not deserve that, brother. That was people being irresponsible, and I hope the people that was just, took part in that, face the consequences of that. Because, man, we gotta take life a little bit more serious, man. We gotta be more considerate of others. You know what I mean? There's plenty of dead spots in Philly where there's no traffic or people whatsoever that you could race on, but for some reason you're feeling the need to race on streets that people are actively walking and driving through. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Like, there's people that even do it on 95. Like, you could just do it there, especially at night. The 95 is always dead. You know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. I don't know what these people be on. I also know people that I grew up with that have passed away, from racing on the streets. It's just not something safe to do. You know what I mean? And y'all be having kids and all that, and y'all just be moving so recklessly. I don't understand that. Like, y'all should be wanting to come home to y'all kids, man. They said that dude had no pulse when they took him out the car. If that's the case and they wasn't able to revive him, rest in peace to that brother, man. That was very unfortunate to see. Terrence Smith said, damn, this shit won't let me send a super chat. Well, we got CashApp, brother. If you got CashApp, you know what I mean? If you really want to show love. If not, it is what it is. Sometimes they won't let you do a super chat if you're saying like certain words. You know what I mean? So like if you say like an inappropriate word or whatever the case is, they'll block the super chat altogether. YouTube has become mad political like that. So it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know if he passed away, but if he did, rest in peace to him. But y'all could literally, if y'all go play back the video at the end, you could literally hear the whole accident, bro. That shit was loud. I never heard a car accident that loud. And I'm surprised that fucking traffic light didn't fall. Like, the traffic light stood up, man. That shit was sturdy. It says turn up my volume. What you mean? I don't know what you mean by that. I got voice isolation on. You can't hear me? Yeah, I don't know what he talking about. It's probably your volume, brother. This nigga, we hacker life, just like he's he clearly looking for some type of attention. So we gonna go ahead and pack you up. Any nigga who name is we hacker life, like you a wee hacker. You's a dick eater, cuz. Get him the fuck up off my channel. Pack him with the quickness, please. Fucking Vergil or Boots is overhyped. Y'all niggas is fools, bro. Like, y'all know y'all corny as shit, right? Like, y'all know that. And y'all, most likely y'all don't got no bitches. Acting like that, I know you ain't never have a hoe. You ain't never have a badge on. You ain't never, like, and if y'all niggas do have girls, they be knowing that y'all be just hating on, like, dry hating on niggas. Because bitches don't, I'm going to tell y'all something. Bitches don't find that attractive, cuz. They don't. Girls don't like niggas who hate on other niggas. I've actually gotten bitches in the past because niggas went out of their way to go hate on them to me. And all it did was attract them bitches even more to me. Just saying. Just saying. Fucking weirdos. Vergil or Boost overhyped. No, nigga, they some of the best fighters in the world. That's why we want the fight so bad. If they was both overhyped, why the fuck would we care to see them? Fucking dummies. Shout out to Jalil with the with that Eagles logo, man. Shout out to the Eagles, man. They playing tomorrow. I think they playing Green Bay. That's what's up. Beth Annual says they think they're invincible and nothing bad can happen. I hope the person that got hit is doing okay. I hope so too. I didn't get to hear any more information, but tomorrow we're gonna have to dial up our insurance and get that shit situated, man. Hopefully it's not a headache. You know what I mean? But things like this will be avoided if motherfuckers, you know what I mean, carry themselves like responsible men. You feel me? Bella Faith in the building. She said, hey, yo, why do folks think Lubin took a dive? These YouTube panels are wild. I'm not buying that at all. I'm not buying it neither, Bella. I'm really not. You know what I mean? Because I think that Erickson Lubin would have benefited a lot more from the situation if he would have beat Vergil. Like, I highly doubt niggas gave him side bread that was just that was unrefusable. You know what I mean? Where he had no choice but to take the dive. You feel me? Like, I highly doubt that was a situation. And I don't think Erickson Lubin would have blatantly got knocked out cold on his feet to get a couple more dollars. You know what I mean? Like, these motherfuckers care about their lives. They care about their safety. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a Malik Scott moment where he just got grazed by Wilder and then he acted like he was. No, it wasn't that type of situation. He took some full-on blows from Vergil, man. He took some devastating blows from Vergil that may change him as a fighter. I highly doubt that he took any type of dive, you know, for that. I just don't think that. You know, I disagree with that heavily. But I'm not going to say I understand their perspective, but, Erickson Lubin's performance was so off-putting. It was so weird that it kind of makes me wonder, not necessarily that he took a dive, but what the fuck was going on with Lubin? That was just weird. The approach was weird. His approach to the fight, his game plan, it was just off. Like, what was that? Especially with all that shit you was talking. Saying you was going to do this and do that, and you perform like that is definitely a head scratcher. But I'm not going to jump out the window and say, oh, yeah, he took a dive. That's like somebody jumping out the window and calling somebody a drug cheat. That's a serious accusation. But it definitely was off-putting for sure. Yeah, seriously said, I think bro got overwhelmed, to be honest. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that definitely could be a situation. Maybe he was just overwhelmed by Vergil Ortiz's pressure, his power. You know, he probably was confused, didn't know how to approach it, and before he knew it, it was too late. Jalil says, Lubin punches seemed to have no snap to them. I don't think he really bro, they said he only landed like 3 punches, bro. So he didn't even get a chance to establish himself offensively. They said in them 2 rounds, bro, that he landed 3 out of 18 power shots. Power punches are anything except the jab. So they saying, so he literally went 1 for 6. What's that like? 1 for 6 is like 18% or some shit like that. So if you, bro, he didn't even get a chance. It's crazy that people are saying that his punches didn't look like they have any snap. He didn't land any punches. He didn't land any punches. Yeah, he landed 17%. If you want to round it up, he landed 17% of his power shots in 2 rounds. He didn't even get to establish himself offensively. So fuck the whole idea that his punches ain't have any snap. He didn't land any punches, period. We won't even know if his punches had snap or not because he didn't get nothing off on Vergil. But Vergil ran that shit up on him. So I don't know, bro. Very, very weird performance from Lubin, bro. Very, very weird performance. That's all I really gotta say about that. See that, Vergil? Don't be ducking the smoke, nigga. You walk to that motherfucker. You seen that? Don't be ducking when that smoke come through, nigga. Anyways, what we talking about, y'all? I'll be putting links in the chat and nobody be coming on. That should be crazy. I'm surprised my boy Mastermind ain't pop up. He always seem to pop up after a fight happens. He wasn't ready to fight. It looked like it. He looked like he was prepared. He looked like he had a solid training camp. He made weight. I don't know if you could say he wasn't ready. Damn, stranger, that's fucked up. Thank God Mastermind ain't pop up. Damn, y'all niggas don't like Mastermind. Is Mastermind not a fan favorite? He not a draw? There ain't no demand for Mastermind. Damn, I thought y'all liked Mastermind. I'm the only one who like him. Oh no, he just remind me of the old heads around my way. Cause around the hood, bro, we always got them crazy. We always got that crazy. We got them crazy old heads. Let them be saying whatever. He remind me of one of them. He remind me of them old heads that be outside the speakeasies. Drinking and you know what I mean, they be out there all day, all night, just drinking and talking shit. But the stranger not too fond of him. My boy Anonymous in the building. He said, "What you think about Plant Charlo fight possibly happening next year?" That's a tough situation for Plant, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. When you have that embarrassing performance that you had against Armando Resendiz, where you let that man come up and wait and punch on you, dog you, you know what I mean, hurt you multiple times throughout the fight. While Jamal Charlo had a layup with Thomas Lamana. You know what I mean? That was a relatively easy performance for him. Caleb clearly had the tougher opposition on that card. But what I am going to say is that's a tough comeback fight for Caleb Plant to get into, man. You know, usually based off of patterns, I'll see like Caleb Plant take like a warm-up fight before he gets into a big fight. You see what I mean? Like he fought Trevor McCumbee before he fought, Resendiz. You know, before Benavidez, he fought, I believe, Anthony Durrell. You know, he's had a few title defenses where like he'll take like little warm-up fights until he gets the big fight. You know, before the Canelo fight, I think he fought that dude that was like on a fucking Subway commercial and Fagan boots and all that. Like Caleb Plant, I don't know. Like a lot of motherfuckers like Caleb Plant, but he done got away with some bullshit. He done got away with some bullshit in the past. That's all I'm gonna say. Like you beat Jose Uskagi, all right, that's cool because he was champion. It is what it is. I think he beat Andre Durrell for that belt. Hold on, y'all. Fucking firefighters, bro. But like he beat Jose Uskagi, that he fought Mike Lee, an undefeated nobody. Fagan boots. Caleb Truax. I was there for that fight. Caleb Truax, trash. Jesus Christ. It's fucking firefighters, bro. Shout out to the boy Jalil. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, brother. I think it's Aziz. I don't know how to pronounce it, brother. My apologies. But Jalil with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you coming through and showing love. He said if Boots hasn't proven himself, as some may say, then why not allow him to do it with the Vergil fight? Great point, man. I think that Boots has proven himself. He hasn't faced that elite level competition just yet, but he's had some performances to let you know that, he's definitely a problem. You know what I mean? And I think that I was really thinking about what Andre Ward had said yesterday, saying that Boots hasn't really fought anybody elite and things of that nature. But, I really feel like Andre Ward, and I feel like a lot of people do this too, when they tend to be biased towards somebody, they try to justify the resumes. And when they don't really have a relationship with another person, then, they'll just straight up make a blanket statement about somebody's resume. Like they pick and choose when to, add context to people's resume. That's just some shit that I be noticing. Because when people said that about Bud, here come Andre Ward being like his emotional support and saying, oh, well, he fought this guy, he was an Olympian, and, he fought this guy, and he never lost, and, he fought this guy, he beat Manny Pacquiao. It's like, bro, we could do that. We could shit on people's resumes. We could find holes in people's resumes, and we could big up people's resumes. So, it's all about being consistent. Okay. Aziz? So I've said it right the second time. So it's Aziz. Jalil Aziz. Shout out to the boy Terrence Smith with the $2 super chat. We got them super chats rolling in, man. Appreciate that. Terrence Smith says, check my previous comments. Okay, let me see. Terrence Smith. Well, I don't see it. You must have been all the way up here somewhere. I don't see it. You're gonna have to write it again, brother. Just go ahead and write it, and I'll go ahead and I'll answer it. Shout out to you for the super chat, though. I appreciate it. Shout out to the boy Terrence Smith. Yeah, to answer Anonymous's question, I don't really like that fight for Caleb Plant. I don't really like that fight as a comeback fight for Caleb Plant. That's a dangerous comeback fight. Jamal Charlo, he has his vices, he has his issues outside of the ring, but he's still very much dangerous. He's strong. He got a great jab, good punching power with both hands. And he always comes with some type of shape. Like I only seen like one fight in all honesty where Jamal Charlo looked fatigued. You know what I'm saying? Like, and those was in the later rounds. But for the most part, Jamal Charlo, he's polished, he's sharp, he's a good counter puncher. He's fundamentally sound. He got a strong base, in terms of, like his foundation, just a sturdy dude. You know what I mean? And Jamal could hurt you and I don't know if he could put you out with it, but I've seen him hurt multiple people with jabs. Like when you go back and watch that, that J-Rock fight, that Julian Williams fight, Philadelphia brother of mine. Jamal Charlo landed a flush jab on J-Rock, and his legs were gone from that moment forward. That was the beginning of the end. A jab, bro. There's not many people who could do that. So, Jamal Charlo is a special fighter. Now, if he did look a bit rusty in the Thomas Lamana fight. He looked a little rusty, with the Jose Benavidez fight. But, I think activity would just make Jamal Charlo more of a problem. Caleb Plant, he might start off boxing real well with the speed and, the flashiness and the combinations and the footwork and all that. But I do think that Jamal Charlo eventually catches up to him. And if he lands on Caleb, bro, if you let a little ass Armando Resendiz hurt you and that brute force that Jamal Charlo has behind his punches, that shit might fuck around and put your lights out. And I ain't gonna lie, that whole situation with Breadman and Caleb, that shit got me feeling a way about Caleb. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't like how I just don't understand the point of hiring a trainer when you're not gonna listen to them. I genuinely don't understand that. And I remember after Caleb Plant lost to Canelo Alvarez, he just dumped his trainer that he was with from the beginning. Like he was nothing. I believe that was he was. I don't know exactly when he left that coach. That he was training with his pop, and I think he added Breadman. Cool. So Caleb, Breadman is flying over to Vegas to attend to you because you're not doing training camp in Philly. He got to come to you. So he's taking time away from his kids and business situations that he got over in Philly to attend to you. And he don't even have a say-so in your training camp. I'm glad Breadman left Caleb. I'm glad. Cause bro, what the fuck am I doing all this shit for? If I can't even do what I'm being paid to do. Some people not okay with just sitting back being yes men and receiving money for being yes men. There's people that actually want to do what they're getting paid to do. That's just me. There's some people that actually want to put the work in that they're being compensated for. You're going to find trainers who's going to shut the fuck up and take their money. even though they really don't gotta say so in camp. But I guess Breadman not one of them people. So I just didn't like the fact that Caleb Plant pretty much ain't give Breadman no say so, and then basically embarrassed Breadman with that loss. It basically embarrassed Breadman with that loss against Resendiz. There's no way you should have lost to Resendiz. But I guess when you feel like, you ain't got to listen to nobody and you know what it take to have certain performances, you get humbled with those type of situations. Terrence Smith with a $2 super chat. He came through, sent $5 to the Cash App. Man, let me see what you said in the Cash App, brother. I appreciate you coming through and showing love. Let me see what he said. Or I'll just say super chat. Okay, shout out to Thoroughbred Bully Kennels. Resendiz ain't no bum. I never say he was a bum. But, Resendiz came into that fight moving up in weight, being a smaller guy, being the less experienced guy at a high level. That was basically his fight to lose. But because Caleb Plant wasn't prepared for that situation, I guess worried about the Jamal Charlo fight, he got surprised. So Resendiz definitely ain't a bum. I will never say that. But that was Caleb Plant's fight to win, in my opinion. And he fucked it up. Fucked that money up. But he might end up getting a Jamal Charlo fight anyway. I would rather see Resendiz fight Jamal Charlo. Because that's the man who beat Caleb. But, it is what it is. Nowadays, when you lose and you could lose and come back right back into a big fight. That's the era that we in right now. You sent the video clips of Greg Hackett mocking Oscar acting like he's sniffing coke. All right, let me see this shit. Let me see. Oh, you saying I'm looking at my personal account. You sent it to my boxing page. All right, cool.
On your Oscar shit.
Hey, Bang, why you gotta do that, Bang? Everybody don't know I get down like that, Bang. Hey, man, you put it out there, man. Fuck, man, you put it out there, so. You know what I mean? I'm just a little skeptical, I don't know.
This nigga Greg a fool.
I thought you was on your Oscar shit.
Hey, Bang, why you gotta do that, Bang? Everybody don't know I get down like that, Bang. Hey, man, you put it out there, man. Fuck, man, you put it out there, so. You know what I mean? I'm just a little skeptical, I don't know. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm a little skeptical, Bang. I told Eddie, I told Boots not to show up because Vergil's a monster. I don't think he's going to want to fight after this. So hopefully, they can come to terms because Vergil is the better man, He just got done beating Erickson, Lubin, So hopefully.
This nigga's a fool.
Beating Erickson, Lubin, So hopefully they'll say yes. What the fuck is Oscar talking about? What the fuck? You heard what Boo said? Boo said the time is now, brother. Let's get it. What do you mean? What are you talking about, Oscar? Your fighter said he wanted to fight. Booth said he wanted to fight. Let's make
the fact that he keeping that shit on his nose as he's talking is hilarious.
And Bang, this was the best part. As he was saying it, hey Bang, as he was saying it, was you watching this?
I already know what he talking about. He like he put like a stick to his nose. I think that's what he gonna bring up.
Eyes glare up like he was trying to convince people. He was like, Vergil's a monster. Like he was trying to get people to agree with him.
No, never mind.
He said Vergil's a monster, right? He's a monster.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, Greg a motherfucking fool. That's funny as shit. But yeah, man. Oscar on some nut shit. He is scary ass promoter. For being such a brave fighter, you the total opposite as a promoter. You're very, very but I guess that's what happens when you got money on the line, right? And you trying to make that, like I say all the time, that return on investment. You know what I mean? I guess when money's on the line and it could involve you losing money, possibly you're gonna move a bit more strategic in comparison to when you were a fighter. You were such a star that even if you took a loss, you still find a way into some money. I guess that's the difference. But yeah, Oscar, he's a scary motherfucker, man. There was a few fights he didn't want to give us. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, if Turkey wasn't involved, Shakur got to thank Turkey. Like, because if it wasn't for him, he would have never got that Cepeda shot. Never would have got that Cepeda shot. He would have been fighting UK niggas that's under Eddie Hearn. Ain't nothing wrong with a little coke. Shit, let you tell it. That shit ain't. I don't know who the fuck told you that. Who the fuck told you that? Who said that? My shirt wrinkled as fuck. Shout out to Muhammad Ali. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He said, I said that shit. I hear you. That shit don't apply over here, though. That shit rabbit ass mine. Shit. That boy boxing sparring out his motherfucking mind. You know, who told you that? Ask Whitney and Bobby, look what happened to them. Look what happened to them, though. That's funny. I was listening to Whitney earlier. I was thinking about making like a YouTube channel where I just sing covers. You know what I mean? Everything Healthy said Shakur would have got that shot with Cepeda if he signed the Oscar. Oscar said it himself when Shakur was a free agent last year. So Shakur got to sign with a nigga to get a rank, somebody ranked in his sanctioning body to fight him. That's pussy shit, bro. Like that's really pussy shit. And that's a smart move on Oscar's part, because it's like, all right, if I'm gonna cash my guy out to you, you know what I mean? At least be signed with me so I can still benefit off of you after the fact. I get it. But nah. Show me Oscar's track record in promoting black fighters. I mean, technically, Floyd was never a Golden Boy fighter. Like he fought a lot of Golden Boys fighters, but he was technically his own promoter. But because Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer was the business minds behind Golden Boy at one point in time, that's why we had Floyd fighting on Golden Boy Promotions a lot. And then it makes me go back to this question. Yeah, Devin had to do it. He had no other choice. You know what I mean? That's what he had to do in order to become undisputed. But, you know, did every fighter that Williams Zepeda fought, was they signed with Golden Boy? So why Shakur gotta be the one? Because like I said, was Tevin Farmer signed with Golden Boy when he fought him back to back? Not at all. So you put in expectations. Yeah, for sure, J Cash. You keep me on point, brother. Of course, I'm gonna do the same for you. You said Oscar got Devin Haney fighter now. He looked mid last night. Who you talking about? Omari? What's his name? Is that who you talking about? Talking about Amari Jones? You think the Amari looked mid? I really wasn't like watching it like attentively, but from what I was seeing, Amari was whooping that ass. Amari Jones came in with a white tank top. That nigga was not playing at all. That nigga he ain't look like he had a cut neither. He looked like he had a tank top. I was like, that nigga is here to step on shit. When I seen Omari was punching on dude. Bella said 10 M's to fight Boots. That's what the manager said. That's what the manager said. He said he not even gonna look at the offer unless it got 7 zeros on it. Yeah, he did fight one of Roy Jones' fighters because they say he was from Pensacola and all that. Vergil manager says 7 figures. No, he says 7 zeros because 7 figures would be $1 million. He says 7 zeros. So that means 10 mil plus. Nigga said 50K to fight Boots. You saying give you 50K? 50K is not enough because you probably gonna come home with like 20 racks. That shit might go to the hospital bill. Shit. Boots? 50 racks? No. That nigga Beth Annual said, it's my money and I need it now. That nigga not playing. Bella said, this is a pending duck and we could all feel it. Yeah. Shit, what Beanie Siegel said, son, got my radars up. Real shit. How the way they talking? Shit. Them niggas act like they, and it just lets you know who full of shit, like who's willing. And I'm gonna tell you, if Vergil somehow, some way gets the Errol Spence fight, I'm not going to shit on him from a business aspect, but you better believe I'm going to call him a duck. Because you can't be out here saying, oh, well, Boots turned the fight down. Oh, Boots turned the fight down. Then this nigga press you talking about what's up with a fight, and now you turning the fight down. Because then, based off your logic, you ain't no different than him, nigga. Fuck out of here. You told that nigga to face off with you. What you telling him to come into the microphone for? Pause. If you ain't trying to rumble him. The stranger said, what's the hold up on Shakur and T.O. confirmation? I'm not too sure, but that's why I'm not really speaking about the fight that much because, it seems like Shakur's confident. It seems like T.O.'s confident. I keep hearing T.O. allude to the fight. He did some commentary on like brand risk yesterday, and he brought it up. And, they making it seem like it's confirmed. So maybe they just waiting for the higher ups to, announce the fight. Maybe they're going to announce it on November 22nd. I'm assuming that's what they're going to do. I think that, during something just leads me to believe that Shakur and T.O. will be in Riyadh November 22nd, and they'll be using that platform to promote their fight January 31st. That's what I think. And it gives you plenty of time to promote the fight. You know what I mean? Because you got the end of November, you got all of December, and you got all of January to build the fight. So that's what I think is going to happen. Just my personal opinion. But if anybody's holding the fight up, you already know who it is. And it ain't Shakur. I don't recall Shakur ever holding up any fight. Never. Not once. But I've heard of T.O. holding up fights just recently with Devin Haney. Damn, Asing, I ain't see you in a hot ass minute, brother. How you feeling? He said, I honestly don't think Boots versus Vergil is next. I hear what you're saying, bro. It's not looking too good neither. Based off, and it's not really Vergil that much. Even though Vergil's saying some stupid shit too, talking about I don't care what the fans say. I'd rather fight Errol than Boots. It's like it's frustrating, but it's really his team, the ones that's making it seem like Boots ain't shit, and Vergil's the A side. Okay, if Vergil's the A side, why y'all not sending offers? How y'all gonna say Vergil the A side? This shit has to be favorable for Vergil, but y'all waiting for Boots to send y'all an offer. Y'all waiting for Eddie Hearn to send the offer, but y'all the A side. How that make sense? I thought the A side ones were the ones who sent the offers. Because remember when Devin tried to offer Tank a fight? And Tank, Leonard Ellaby and those talking about, oh, we the A side. Niggas can't offer us shit. But now they want B side niggas to send supposed A side niggas offers. I don't understand, bro. Shit is confusing. But I've been well, saying thanks for asking, man. Just, we still cooking. You know what I mean? We still consistent. We still talking about the boxing world and everything in it. You know what I mean? You ever see somebody write some shit on their Instagram and make you want to respond to them and be like, pussy, shut the fuck up? Or like, nigga, who you talking to? Some nigga just put up a post talking about all glory to God, no criminal records, no baby mamas, no kids, no enemies, and we made it to 30. God is great. It's like, nigga, why is you making it seem like having no kids is like such a big accomplishment? Like, niggas just be, I don't know, bro. I feel like once you get to a certain age, like, as a man, That no baby mama shit really triggered me. Like, nigga, you know I beat you the fuck up, right? Like, you know that. So I don't even know why you saying this shit like you flexing on me, knowing that I beat your ass. I be feeling like niggas be shooting at me because niggas low-key don't like me. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. Maybe I'm reaching. No evidence. 340 said I fuck with Vergil, but if he's saying 10 million no fight, that's duck talk. I agree because like I said, you know, since motherfuckers want to bring up the business or always want to bring up the business to justify sucker shit, okay, let's talk the business. Y'all want the fight that happened in the U.S., right? I heard them speaking yesterday. It'll be a great U.S. fight. Okay, cool. So you know that Turkey Al-Sheikh will basically only overpay a motherfucker if they're one Canelo or Terrence Crawford, one of those high-level guys, or if you fight in Riyadh. Y'all made it clear y'all not fighting in Riyadh. So you're not going to get those incentives or be massively or get a massive payday most likely, right? I'm sorry, I be getting caught up. You know, 10 million has to make sense for the people who are giving it out. Why would somebody give you $10 million when you've never shown through the numbers that you could either give them back $10 million or surpass that? What has Vergil done gate-wise, you know, pay-per-view-wise to reassure the people that he could generate that type of money back so it could be profitable? They didn't have a problem giving Floyd a $100 million deal. You know why? Because they knew they was going to make that motherfucking money back. They ain't had a problem giving that type of numbers to Canelo Alvarez. You know why? Because they knew they was going to get their money back. They not doing that for Vergil. So when you know that you can't generate that type of money, yet you're asking for that type of money, you it's just as good as saying, yo, I don't want to fight. But mind you, it's not Vergil Ortiz putting that price tag on himself. It's Vergil's team. But since you hired them to represent you, you take the criticism just as much as they do. That's my thing. Vergil and his camp is definitely weird for that Z4. I agree with you. Shah Ryder West Side, what's going on, brother? How we feeling? He says, salute Mazuma. Hey, what's with Murder Bachman? Why does it seem like a lot of boxers ducking him? Is he really the boogeyman at 54? Well, I heard Erickson Lubin's take on it. He said that they couldn't come to a deal for some reason. So I don't know if the money wasn't right. I don't know what the case was, but that was his say-so. You know, other people are saying they don't want to fight him because they don't want to deal with that 10-pound rehydration clause. This is what Vergil Ortiz's team said, not me. And then on top of that, you know, he's been having an ongoing situation in terms of his mandatory with Josh Kelly for a little while now. He's facing his mandatory. So as far as I'm concerned, he's occupied. But, you know, there are people that are saying that, you know, it's pretty tough to match Bachman because people don't want to fight him. Although he's champion, you know, he is a dangerous kind of fighter, and he doesn't bring much money to the table, so people are looking at other options outside of him. Mazuma, if the fight does happen, who do you have winning and how? I got Jaron Ennis beating Vergil Ortiz. I think that Jaron Ennis does real well with fighters who come forward and try to apply pressure. I see Jaron Ennis having a lot of success with his, you know, combination punching. I see him having a lot of success with his jab as well. I could see him running Vergil into some shots, man. Vergil does get a bit desperate at times. And we've seen it a little bit in the Erickson Lubin fight where if he can't get his range, then he'll lunge into a shot. I think that with somebody like Jaron Ennis who has a good understanding of range, I think he could run Vergil into some punches once he picks up on certain tendencies that Vergil shows, aka reaching. Jaron Ennis is a hell of a counterpuncher as well, so that might make Vergil, just second guess a bit of his offense at times. You know what I mean? And I think if they play chess, I think Boots is going to be better than him in that department as well. I think that Vergil is going to have to fight like a real rugged fight in order to be successful against somebody like Boots. I think he's going to have to be okay with, getting hit with some shots. But I don't know if you could take that many shots from Jaron Ennis, considering he has a high knockout ratio just like Vergil. Vergil, he got some good counter punching ability and stuff like that, but his first line of defense, in my opinion, is his high guard. And Jaron Ennis, just like Vergil, is really good at picking apart the high guard. You feel me? So I just see Jaron Ennis being the better, more skilled fighter overall. I see him running up them numbers on Vergil. I can see Vergil getting stopped within 10 rounds. And the only reason why I'm not saying 7-8 is because I look at Vergil as being the more durable fighter in comparison to a Stanionis, a tougher fighter than Stanionis. You feel me? So I could really see Vergil accumulating some damage and probably have his corner stopping the fight. Just my opinion. But Vergil is very game. Vergil could definitely win the fight if he plays his cards right. I think it's that competitive of a matchup. Vergil does scare me in certain aspects as a Jaron Ennis fan, but I am very confident in Jaron Ennis' abilities, so I'm picking him all the way. That's just me. If the fight is solidified, next or, sometime in 2026, I'm going to definitely study up on some film, watch both guys, see what their tendencies are, and then I'll develop a more detailed prediction behind the two. But I'm backing Jaron Ennis 1,000%. Anonymous said, I ain't gonna lie, Barker would have caught Lubin for sure. Facts. Shyrod, I was just saying earlier that I don't subscribe to the fact that Lubin took a dive, so I can't answer how much I think Lubin got to throw that fight. I don't subscribe to that. And the only reason why I don't is because I look at Lubin as a competitor. I think that he really wanted to accomplish being world champion, and I think that him beating Vergil would have been a lot more profitable than taking a dive for Vergil. So I don't subscribe to that notion. Do we got one last question before we get up out of here? Ladies and gentlemen, let me know. I'm about to wrap it up. I do got work tomorrow. But Tuesday, we're going to be off, man. Shout out to all the veterans out there. Shout out to everybody that's currently serving in the military. My boy Anonymous, Lorenzo, who else? We got a few people in the chat that's enlisted in the military. Shout out to y'all. This country ain't the country that we are without y'all service, so thank you very much. You know what I mean? We're gonna have that holiday on Tuesday, so I'm excited about that. King of Brooklyn says, "Who you got in Norman versus Haney?" I got Devin Haney pulling it off. Okay, you a vet from the Marines. Salute, brother. Shout out to Sean Ryder. Shout out my guys Lorenzo and Jay. Yes, sir. But I got Devin Haney pulling that off. I do think that it's gonna end up. I think once I see Haney, I think if Haney makes this a boring fight, aka the Jose Ramirez fight, I think Norman's gonna have a tough time dealing with Devin Haney. I ain't gonna lie. But I do think that Devin Haney's experience at a high level is gonna be helping him. I think his world-class jab is gonna give Brian Norman some problems. And Brian Norman, he's a great athlete in his own right. I do think that defense. His defense is very leaky. You know what I mean? He is a hard puncher, so if he catches Devin in the right spot, he could definitely put his lights out. And, if Brian Norman wins by any way, I do think he wins by knockout. But I got Devin Haney outboxing. I got him beating Brian Norman on points. And if he get caught, Brian Norman be getting caught with some clean shots, man. If he gets the right distance on the right hand and catches him flush on the chin, he might hit the canvas too. Wait, I think it's Nage? Nage? He says, this fight going to tell us all we need to know about Norman. It's going to tell us everything we need to know about Norman, and it's also going to tell us a lot about Devin Haney as well. Because, a lot of people have been skeptical of Devin Haney since that Ryan Garcia situation. And after that Jose Ramirez fight, now everybody's saying that he's scary and that he don't want no confrontation. So this is going to say a lot about Devin Haney too, especially if he gets hits flush. If he doesn't take the shot well, the chinny narratives are going to continue. But if he dominates Brian Norman, knocks him down, beats him up, or even stops him, it's going to be a lot of apologies that's going to need to be had or given for sure. Do I think Pitbull Cruz could beat Lamont? I think he can beat Lamont if Lamont isn't responsible with his defense. I do think that Lamont Roach is the more skilled fighter. I think he's going to put on. I think that shit's going to be target practice for real, for Lamont Roach. I think that he's going to be catching and shooting on a lot of Pitbull Cruz's punches. Pitbull Cruz's punches come mad wild, bro. They're like super wide too, so you can see them coming from a mile away. I think Lamont has pretty responsible defense. He catches shots real well. He rolls shots real well. So I see Lamont Roach being the ultimate counter puncher. I see him landing that uppercut multiple times throughout the fight. Shit, he might even hurt Pitbull, to be real with you. Something just tells me that Lamont Roach is going to, he's not going to be running from Isaac Cruz. He's not going to be using his feet all like that, And I think Isaac Cruz knows that, which is why he takes the fight because, Isaac Cruz don't really want nothing to do with guys who are looking to box him because he can't neutralize that. He can't cut off the ring to save his life. He want motherfuckers to sit in the pocket with him and trade with him. He seen Lamont fight Tank. It was like, oh, yeah, I like that style. That could be beneficial for me. But the problem is Isaac Cruz ain't never been in there with somebody like Lamont Roach outside of Tank, but Tank decided to be more mobile in the fight. With the type of courage that Lamont Roach has, the confidence that he has and his overall counterpunching ability, he's gonna hit Isaac Cruz with some flush shots in between his combinations. That shit's gonna catch Isaac off guard. I'm telling you, Isaac is gonna have problems with Lamont Roach. But if Lamont Roach gets hit with if he gets hit with some big shots, that could be a problem too. His defense is gonna have to be real tight. Jay Cash said he's probably hoping Lamont going to stand in the pocket with him. I believe Lamont is going to stand in the pocket with him. But the thing is, I think that Lamont's counters are going to be so sharp that I think he's going to end up getting the better of those exchanges, and I think he's going to win by unanimous decision. Pitbull only KO is 140 is Rolly, right? Possibly. That's possible. I would have to look on BoxRec. Yeah. Yep. His only knockout at 140 is Rolly. Bro says, you think there might come a point in the fight where if Lamont is comfortably winning, Lamont starts backing Isak up? If Lamont places them body shots early on Isak, because I know Isak not accustomed to that. I would love to know if Isak could take a body shot because the motherfucker's so little. I know he's not accustomed to being hit down there. That might be like his Achilles heel because he's been able to take some good shots to the head like a typical Mexican. But also, like a typical Mexican, they typically don't like getting hit to the body. I wonder, I could really see Lamont Roach shooting some uppercuts to Isak Cruz's head and his body. I would love to see how Isak Cruz reacts to those body shots, man. If I could see Lamont stepping Isak in the later rounds, especially if Isak is a bit fatigued or he ain't got that much more pop on his punches, I could see Lamont walking him down. And if Lamont start walking Isak down, Isak gonna be in trouble because he cannot fight going backwards. I know that for a fact. He cannot fight on the back foot. If he gets pushed back by Lamont, Lamont starts tattooing him with punches, bro, he might fuck around and get stopped for the first time. The moment that somebody has good punching power and is strong enough physically to push Isak back, that'll be the day Isak gets stopped. That'll be the day. Isak will be so flustered. He'd be so uncomfortable. But his whole life, all he's been doing is walking people down. As a smaller guy, he had no choice. When he fights that physically stronger presence, a physically stronger fighter who could take a punch, push you back, and hit you with some shit that make you think, he gonna feel real vulnerable in that ring, for sure. Matias, maybe. I think Matias will stop Isak Cruz for sure. That Fierro fight was a war. Yeah. Definitely was. Pitbull, as long as he got the right person in the ring with him, he always gonna put on exciting fights. You can't have that type of style Isak got and be boring. Unless Isak gets in there with somebody who ain't going for that, that's going to put on a clinic. That'll be the only way. Gary Antoine Russell, who should he fight next? Hiroka. I hope they're able to postpone that fight. You know what I mean? But if that fight just completely is scrapped, then I want to see him unify. I want to see him unify with Richardson Hitchens, Subriel. You know what I mean? Teofimo, he probably not available right now because of the Shakur fight, but possibly the Shakur fight. And then, you got, I think that was everybody. Hitchens, Teo, Subriel, yeah. I would like to see him unify. Why not? Antoine, he sounds like he's with the shits. I'll be rooting for Matias against Gary, but I don't think Matias beats Antoine. But I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love as always. If I could go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, that'll be very much appreciated. You see what I mean? I'll be back at y'all with another live 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow to continue cooking up on what's going on in the boxing world, man. Hit the likes, share the video, subscribe to the channel. You feel what I mean? This was a great, conversation that we had today. We had some funny moments as well, man. Shout out to everybody that contributed in the super chats, man. Shout out to KBGJ. Shout out to Jalil, Jalil Aziz, I believe. And Terrence Smith, man. Shout out to everybody that contributed with the super chats as well, man. Until then, I hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.